Miss Ferguson here with MetaSweet Natural Health here in beautiful Central Arkansas. I was going to talk to you today about how to make liniments. And liniments are basically just infusions. We talked about how to make teas the other day, about how you're taking an herb, you're soaking it in hot water bath, so that the medicinal properties are able to move across that cell membrane out into the surrounding water. You strain off the herb and then you drink the tea, and you have the medicinal properties of that herb in that tea. With a liniment, you're essentially doing the same thing. It's just instead of the water, you're using oil. You're allowing the medicinal properties to pull out of those cell membranes in the herb, so that it becomes a part of the surrounding fluid. Then you strain off the herb, and then you have the liniment to rub on the external body for things like arthritis, muscle aches and pains, things of that nature, which is kind of important now because it's getting cooler. People are starting to feel that in their joints. And also with people making their New Year's resolutions and going to the gym, and then they're coming home in pain. So anyway, herbal liniments are extremely effective. I particularly like St. Johns Wort. St. Johns Wort is an herb that is generally known for its action toward depression. A lot of people will go out and buy capsules and take them internally for helping with depression, alleviate depression. But a lot of people don't know that St. Johns Wort is also an analgesic, and that when you rub it on the external part of your body, it acts as what's called a nervine. It acts on the nerves, and it helps with the pain or anything like that there. So in order to make a liniment, you're going to, of course, need your dried herbs. I am going to make St. Johns Wort. I'm going to add Whitewill Bark, which is also an analgesic, which a lot of people don't know that before aspirin there was white willow. It has salicylates in it for pain. And then I'm also going to use burdock because I always feel like it's kind of important to do kind of a detox of the tissues. Burdock is a great detox agent. So, and I usually don't measure out too much. I kind of eyeball it. I don't go by recipes on these. I just want to cover the base. I usually use a glass baking dish. So I will do kind of cover the base with the herb. And then on these harder particles where you have dried root, like on this burdock root, it's like rocks, or like goldfish gravel or fish tank gravel. I usually soak them in hot water for probably about 30 minutes just to soften it up, because you're trying to get the medicinal properties out of the herb, the root. So I'll soak it for a little bit, and then I'll just kind of add it. I don't want it to be too wet because oil and water don't really mix that well. Try to keep it more oil. And I will just kind of do it in the bottom of my dish. And then I use olive oil. You can use almond oil. You can really use any kind of oil that you want. I have to watch out for nut allergies, though. I have a member of my family that's allergic to almond oil, so I wouldn't use a nut oil in that case. So I wind up using olive oil. The problem with olive oil is that it kind of has a smell, especially when you cook it. So I'm going to add my olive oil, and any olive oil will do. A lot of people will go look for the most expensive, and organic is good, but you should always just get what you can afford. I mean, don't stress that you can't get the very best. Just the fact that you would even be doing this puts you a step ahead I try and pour the olive oil at least probably about an inch over the herbs, so I have that much in there, and then I just kind of stir it around so I get an even distribution, and then I stick it in the oven. You want it to infuse slowly. You know, of course, don't want to catch your oil on fire. So I'll bake it at about 170 or 180. Let me get it down there. There we go. For about 3 hours. And I'll set my timer. This is one that I had worked on earlier. And I put a little bit of white in there. When you're finished with this, after it's cooled down, you don't want to mess with it when it's all hot and everything. After the 3 full hours, then I'll take it. I have a larger strainer for this job, and then I'll just strain it into another dish. And when you do that, this is like cooking. This is kind of fun. I'll mash it just to see if I can get some extra juice out of there, or oil. And then I've got my liniment, and you can store this. It will last indefinitely. I've never heard of this going bad at any time, you know, unless it's exposed to like excess heat or something like that. And then when you use it, you just, you know, pour a little bit in your hand. And like I said, the olive oil kind of has a smell to it that a lot of people may not like. I get used to it. And you can pour it into your hand, and let's see, get it turned around just a little bit, you know, and then you can take your favorite essential oils if you want it to smell a little better, and just add a few drops, and then just rub it like into your joints, whatever's hurting. Like let's say I had carpal tunnel or something and it was just really bothering me, and I would just rub it in. To get it further into the tissues, you can add like just a warm cloth or something over the top of it, just so it can really soak in. The St. Johns Wort does an amazing job in the relief of pain, and there are other herbs that a lot of people use, like arnica. A lot of people swear by arnica. So I kind of use both, and the lavender really did help the olive oil. So that is really all there is to making a liniment. On one of the future episodes or videos, I'll be talking about how to make a salve. A salve just has a wax of either beeswax or candle wax or whatever you have available to harden it, and I'll be talking about that in another future episode. For the sake of time, it's really easy to do. All of this is so easy, and a lot of people are just amazed at the fact that they can really feel it. They're used to their pharmaceuticals, and they don't understand that these things have merit and can help them get through these cold winters. So anyway, that is everything that I have on making liniments. If you have any questions or anything, you can kind of post below the window, and here's to your health.